So when I hit play, um, my guy travels here, but we're still faded black. I also noticed that my guy is kind of visible right there, so I do want to adjust a few things. So we want this to fade out when our character goes in, and we don't really want him to be seen through those little creases. And I believe it could be just our border needs to be adjusted. Let's go to our room right here. That's our border there. And we have that on order 0. So let's look at our player. Yeah, I'm also on order 0 here. So, let's change this to the foreground. And now he doesn't show up in front anymore. Next, I want to set up some triggers so that when he does come in, we're fading out here. So I'm going to put in just a simple box collider. I'm going to set it to is trigger. So let's see if I can zoom in. I'm just going to put it in the middle of him. I think that's perfectly fine right there. And then in our room prefabs, so I want to open this up. And I really should have changed the sorting layer in the prefab area, not on the outside here. So let's just override that and make sure we're good there. Okay. And we're going to have to do that for each of these. So I'm going to change to foreground. And then I'm going to override. And then this should get that. Yep, looks like it carried over. Great. Okay, so let's start with our first room. That's where we are now. So I want to just create an empty object, and I will call this trigger fade. And I'm going to just put a box collider and is trigger. And it would help if it was nearby in the actual room. Let's bring that up here. I'm going to recenter that. So I want it like right on the edge here. Right at the doorway, and I can even make it like a little wide just in case for some reason it doesn't collide. We'll make it collide. And then I'm going to copy and paste as new, and I'm going to put one right on the other side here. And so our room over here now has that as well. And I'm going to copy that game object, come over here, and I'm going to paste it in. And I will have to zero this out and kind of reposition it. Let's keep the Z the same. And I think that should be pretty good. Maybe over just a little bit. There we go. And so now these prefabs all have this trigger we created. And then we can just make a simple script on here to trigger that. And basically, let's create a new script. Let's call it trigger fade. I have two of these open for some reason. That was weird. There we go. So I want to grab the animator, not the actual game object, and then I can tell it to fade in, which is going to be animation state 1. Let's just change this to the animator, and we'll just say if other.tag is set to player, then other, let's see, then room fader dot set int anim state to 1. So what this is going to do is say when our player collides with our trigger colliders, it's going to change the animation state of the room fader to 1. So let's test it out. It didn't work, and that is because we didn't set our reference. So let's go to our trigger fade here. We didn't even attach the script. So let's go into the actual prefab and set this. So there's that one. And then there's that one. So our room 1 doesn't have this trigger fader. So technically for our first room that's already shown, we can remove this. But I'm not going to remove it from the prefab because all the other prefabs are going to need it. So that one's going to be, specifically that one is going to be different. So this one is going to use this room fader, and this prefab for room 2 is going to use this room fader because that's the one we have in front of it. Look at that. So now we have the layers properly blocking him from in between the rooms, and we have the fader working properly as our player goes into each room. And let's just make sure it doesn't replay anything when we come back out. Nope. Looks good.